The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on Tom's Radio Toronto are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of Tom's Radio Toronto or its staff. These broadcasts are presented and made public as entertainment and general information. Hope that they will be entertaining and informative to listeners. They are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or mitigate in any way any disease or condition or to promote any specific lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice, nor is the information presented necessarily accurate or verifiable.
Nagbabalik po ang inyong kabayang Mondatol para sa ating Balitang Bayan News at 4. Well, top of the story, Trudeau blasts terrorist killings. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau yesterday denounced the killing of 4 Muslim family members run down by the driver of a pickup truck as a hate-driven terrorist attack as he urged the nation to stand up against intolerance. The victims, a husband and wife, the teenage daughter and the child's grandmother were killed on Sunday when the truck mounted a curb and struck them in the city of London in Canada's Central Ontario province. The couple's 9-year-old son, orphaned in what police said was a planned attack targeting a Muslim family, was recovering in hospital from serious injury. Oh, wow, mabigat yun. Well, latest news about COVID-19 in Ontario. Ontario's daily COVID-19 case count has dipped below the 500 mark for the second day in a row. Health officials logged 411 new inspections this morning, as well as 33 deaths related to the novel coronavirus. The Minister of Health has stated that of the 33 new deaths reported, 11 actually occurred in either April or May. Before Tuesday, the last time the case count was this low was on September 26, 2020, when 435 COVID-19 cases were reported. Today also marks the 10th day in a row in which Ontario's daily case count has been below 1,000. The 7-day rolling average of daily reported COVID-19 cases continues to decline and now stand at about 657, down from 978 a week ago. There are 571 people treated for the COVID-19 in hospital, or rather in Ontario hospitals. At least 466 of those patients are in ICU, with 30,456 tests processed in the last 24-hour period. The Minister of Health says the province positivity rate now stands at a low 2.0%. This is the lowest reported possibility rate since February. The decline in COVID-19 cases over the past week resulted in an earlier reopening for Ontario, with the government announcing Monday that the province would move to Step 1 3 days earlier. Well, the majority of cases are found in Toronto with 97, Peel Region with 72, Waterloo 35, and York Region 26. The province administered just over 177,506 vaccine doses in the last 24-hour period. In total, 10.4 million vaccine doses has made it into the arms of Ontarians. Just over 1.2 million people have received 2 shots and are considered fully vaccinated. Okay, 3 day earlier ang pagbubukas po na Step 1. And what are allowed on Friday as Ontario enters Step 1 na pre-opening? Heto po ang mga allowed. outdoor social gatherings and organize public events with up to 10 people. Outdoor religious services and ceremonies, including wedding services and funeral services, cap at the number of people that can maintain a physical distance of 2 meters. Indoor religious services and ceremonies, including wedding services and funeral services, permitted at up to 15% capacity of the particular room. Non-essential retail permitted at 15% capacity with no restrictions on the goods that can be sold. Essential and other select retail permitted at 25% capacity with no restrictions on the goods that can be sold. Outdoor dining with up to 4 people per table with exemption for larger household. Outdoor fitness classes, outdoor groups in personal training and outdoor individual team sports training to be permitted with up to 10 people. Day camps for children permitted to operate in a manner consistent with the safety guidelines for COVID-19 produced by the Office of the Chief Medical Officer of Health. Overnight camping and campgrounds and campsites, including Ontario parks and short-term rentals. Concert venues, theaters, and cinemas may open outdoors for the purpose of rehearsing or performing a recorded or broadcast concert, artistic event, theatrical performance, or other performance with no more than 10 performers among other restriction. Outdoor horse racing tracks, karera ng yoka ba? And motor speedways permitted to operate without spectators. Outdoor attractions such as zoos, landmarks, historic sites, botanical garden with capacity and other restriction. Ontario will remain in Step 1 for at least 21 days before moving on to Step 2 of the reopening plan. Step 2 yata yung mga restaurant na dadamihan pa, tsaka yung mga beauty salon, barbershop, massage clinic, and other personal services. Manicure, pedicure, yung mga ganun. Sa step 2 na yun. Malapit na po yun. Let's just wait. Hintay-hintay na lang po tayo. Meantime, U.S. buying 500 million doses of Pfizer COVID vaccine for world. President Joe Biden's administration is buying 500 million doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccines to distribute among other countries, U.S. media reported today, citing people familiar with the matter. Biden will make the formal announcement at the G7 meeting in Britain this week, the Washington Post and New York Times said. The move came as the United States faced pressure to do more about the global vaccine shortage, with rich countries having bought up the lion's share of early supplies. The United States has fully vaccinated more than half of its entire population, and the infection rate has plummeted. Biden hinted at the announcement before boarding Air Force One, bound for Britain to meet with the leaders with a group of 7 nations. As if he had a vaccine strategy for the world, he said, "I have one and I'll be announcing it." The Times said Biden would appear with Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla to make the announcement. The deal would see the U.S. paying not for profit price for the doses, with the first 200 million to ship this year and the remaining 300 million the next year. Wow, nice one. However, U.S. unlikely to meet job target in July. For months, President Joe Biden has laid out goal after goal for taming the coronavirus pandemic and then exceeded his own benchmark. Now, though the United States is unlikely to meet his target to have 70% of Americans at least partially vaccinated by July 4. The White House has launched a month-long blitz to combat vaccine hesitancy and a lack of urgency to get shots, particularly in the South and Midwest, but is increasingly resigned to missing the president's vaccination target. The administration insists that even if the goal isn't reached, it will have little effects on the overall U.S. recovery, which is already ahead of where Biden said it would be months ago. About 15.5 million unvaccinated adults need to receive at least one dose in the next 4 weeks for Biden to meet his goal. But the pace of new vaccination in the United States has dropped below 400,000 people per day, down from a high or nearly 2 million per day 2 months ago. Well, the Americans, their population, I think, is more than 300 million. So, hindi kayang bakunahan yan. Hindi kaya pa. Even though, doon po ginagawa ang Pfizer. Pfizer is being made in the States. And, of course, the government has almost bought every dose of Pfizer. Now, pressure naman ngayon si Biden. Give to the world. That's why the US is buying 500 million. 500 million doses po yan. Ang dami. Ang Pilipinas po, yung pinadala po nila ron at yung padadala, yung mga hindi nagamit. AstraZeneca, Moderna, but not, I think Pfizer would be sent to the Philippines. 2.2 million, I think, would be sent to the Philippines with some other millions of vaccine scattered all over Asia and other parts of the world, courtesy of the United States. Libre. Pero itong kalahating milyon, babayaran nila yan. Well, do you know Bitcoin? Nakilala nyo ba yung Bitcoin na yun? Sikat na sikat yun eh. Alam nyo ba? May bansa na po, there's a country na kumikilala po yan, inapurba na yun para sa kanilang maging legal na perang pambili araw-araw or legal tender. Well, it is El Salvador. Ayan. El Salvador, first country to approve Bitcoin as legal tender. Well, Bitcoin is to become legal tender in El Salvador, the country's president said, making it the first nation to adopt a cryptocurrency for everyday use. O paano kaya yun? Ano? Well, lawmakers in the Central American nations Congress passed a bill late Tuesday that will eventually allow the famously volatile digital currency to be used for many aspects of daily life, from property purchases to tax contributions. The hashtag Bitcoin law has just been approved by a qualified majority in the Legislative Assembly. President Nayib Bukele tweeted after the vote late Tuesday, "History," the president added. The 39-year-old leader said a majority of 62 out of 84 lawmakers approved the bill. Wow! Which he proposed just last week. Ang bilis so fast. The law passed with the support of Bukele's allies despite minority opposition parties who had criticized the speed of the vote, refusing to back it. Cryptocurrencies have soared in popularity due to their use as a store of value. The relative anonymity they offer users and wild price fluctuations that present opportunities for greater profits than investing on the regular stock exchanges of the world. The volatility of Bitcoin, currently priced at $33,814. Ano kaya ito? US dollars? And its murky legal status have raised question about whether it could even replace traditional currency in day-to-day transaction. But El Salvador, a small nation where 4 out of 10 people live in poverty, has turned to the top crypto asset that has been backed by billionaires like Elon Musk and large financial companies such as PayPal in a bid to boost its remittance-reliant economy. El Salvador's main currency is the US dollar, and it remains unclear how the country plans to implement Bitcoin as a functionary currency. Yet the Salvadorian leader has hailed the virtual currency as the fastest growing way to transfer billions of dollars in remittances and to prevent millions from being lost to intermediaries. Remittances from Salvadorans working overseas represents a major chunk of the economy, equivalent to roughly 22% of the gross domestic product. In 2020, remittances to the country totaled 5.9 billion US dollars, according to officials' report. Before the vote, Bukele said adopting the cryptocurrency would bring financial inclusion, investment, tourism, innovations, and economic development to El Salvador. This is a law that will put El Salvador on the world's radar. We will be more attractive for foreign investment. Romeo Orbach, deputy of the Grand Alliance for National Unity Party and ally of Bukele, said, the cryptocurrency market grew to more than $2.5 trillion by the middle of last month, according to the CoinMarketCap page, driven by interest from increasingly serious investors from Wall Street to Silicon Valley. Between the beginning of 2020, a peak in mid-April of $64,870, the price of Bitcoin gained nearly 800%. But since then, the cryptocurrency has fallen in value by more than 50%. Its price has fallen sharply towards a symbolic $30,000 threshold it has not crossed since January, dragging other cryptocurrencies in its wake. After Tuesday's vote, the price jumped more than 5%. Aba, mga tuli. And may nabasa po ako, I've read that there is a Chinese coin, parang Chinese Bitcoin naman, na ngayon po ay sumisikat din. I don't know about it, but I've just scanned a page or two that says Chinese Bitcoin is now gaining popularity. But ano Bitcoin? I know somebody here, a friend, she's into Bitcoin. Ano kaya yun, ano? Isang Bitcoin would ang value $33,819. Ganun kaya yun? Oh, may alam ka ba ron, DJ Ricky Q?
Yep. I built
one Bitcoin, 33,000?
Yeah. You can mine too.
Oh.
You can mine Bitcoin.
Wow. Bumagsak daw, it dropped. But now, after El Salvador's main currency na ginawa yun, umangat na naman daw ng 5%. Hindi ko alam to. Mahirap patulan to. Ayoko pong magpasok-pasok muna rito. At anyway, from the United Nations, United Nations is asking all nations in the world to protect the ocean. We will be back to discuss on this issue after some words from our friends. Don't go away. Ganun ba yung Bitcoin?
Are you an international student who has recently graduated from a Canadian post-secondary school? If you have graduated from a designated learning institution, you could be eligible to apply for permanent residency under the new pathway set out by Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. contact Genesis Immigration Consulting.
Well, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Gutierrez yesterday called for efforts to protect the oceans. The recently issued Second World Ocean Assessment confirmed that many of the benefits that the global ocean provides to humankind are being undermined by human actions, he said in a message for World Ocean Day, which falls yesterday, June 8. Our seas are choking with plastic waste, which can be found from the remotest atolls to the deepest ocean trenches. Overfishing is causing an annual loss of almost $90 billion in net benefits, which also heightens the vulnerability of women who are vital to the survival of small-scale fishing industry, he said. Carbon emissions are driving oceans warming and acidification, destroying biodiversity and causing sea level rise that threatens heavily inhabited coastlines. The theme of this year's observance, the ocean, life and livelihoods, underscores the importance of oceans for the cultural life and economic survival of communities around the world. More than 3 billion people rely on the ocean for their livelihoods, the vast majority in developing countries, said Gutierrez. As we strive to recover from COVID-19, let's end our war on nature. This will be critical to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, keeping within reach the 1.5 degrees target of the Paris Agreement and ensuring the health of our ocean for today's and future generation, he said. The ocean is the body of salt water, which covers approximately 71% of the surface of the earth. It is also on any of the large bodies of water into which the great ocean is divided. A common definition lists 5 oceans in descending orders by area: the Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, Antarctic, and Arctic. The world oceans contain 97% of Earth's water, and oceanographers have stated that less than 20% of the oceans have been mapped. As the world's ocean is the principal component of Earth's hydrosphere, it is integral to life, forms part of the carbon cycle, and influences climate and weather patterns. The ocean is the habitat of 230,000 known species, but because much of it is unexplored, the number of species in the ocean is much larger, possibly over 2 million. Nako, ang laki pala talaga ng, maliliit lang yung isla, no? 71%. 90% of Earth water. Wow. Anyway, may napanood akong movie. Ewan ko kung napanood niyo yun. Sa tubig na nabubuhay yung tao eh. Wala nang lupa. Waterworld, yes. Waterworld. Yung bida ron eh, meron ng kwan eh. Meron na siyang kwan eh. Yung parang sa isda. Nakakahinga na sa ilalim ng dagat. Posibleng mangyari yun eh. Yung Waterworld, alam niyo naman, yun nga, natutunaw na nga raw yung ating mga glacier eh. Ibig sabihin, lumalaki na talaga ang ocean sa mga dagat. Pag natunaw lahat yun, naknan dragon, mauubos ang lupa. Ang Maynila nga po, ang Maynila, 1 meter below sea level. Ibig sabihin nun, papalubog na. Ano? Naku, wag naman sana mangyari. Pero pag hindi nag-ingat ang mga tao, ingat-ingat lang po, nako, delikading, ika nga natin, baka maging Waterworld tayo. Yung moving ganon, yung mga naiisip ng director, baka magkatotoo yan eh. Hindi po natin malaman eh, malawak ang isipan ng mga tao eh. Ang uutaks, daming ano sendang, mauutaks. Alright, balitang Pilipinas naman po. Natatanda, nabasa nyo ba yung isang football player ng FEU namatay, nasabugan ng landmine, binaril pa ng NPA. Ngayon, ang ginagawa po, the Philippine Authority, yung mga sundalo, kapulisan, yung army, they're trying to get those killers from the NPA threshold. Ayaw ibigay. Ito pong istorya niyan. Under our authorities, the CPP-NPA ignore calls to turn over rebels behind the football player's death. The Communist Party of the Philippines, CPP, and its arm wing, the New People's Army or NPA, have seemingly refused to turn over to the government the rebels responsible for the deaths of the Absalon cousins in Masbate City over the weekend. In a statement this morning, the CPP said the communist unit behind the landmine blast that killed football player Kit Absalon, 21 years old, and his cousin Nol Ben, a father of 4, are under the authority of the NPA. In line with the NPA's rules, they can be meted out disciplinary action or punishment corresponding to their individual responsibility and conduct during the incident, it said. The statement came after the country's National Defense and Interior Department urged the NPA to turn over those who were responsible for the Absalon's death, saying they should be accountable for the crime. The rebel group earlier took full responsibility for the incident, saying it should not have happened. It added that it is conducting an internal probe over the incident. The Department of National Defense earlier condemned the violence and senseless killing perpetrated by the armed group, noting that the use of landmines is against international law, to which CPP admitted. The Communist Party promised to provide the Absalon kin full remuneration. Hindi ko na kailangan ng tulong na galing sa kanila para lang ako babayaran. Hindi na po, ayaw ko na. Batas na lang ang humusga, said Bilma, Kit's mother. Kit was part of the FEU Diliman Baby Tamaraw that won numerous UAAP Juniors football tournament, culminating with the MVP award in 2016, the Philippine Football Federation had said in a statement. In 2018, he was called up to represent the Philippines in the AAF Under-19 Championship, which was held in Surabaya, Indonesia. It is heartbreaking to see a promising player's future in Kit Absalon cut short during, or rather due to a terrible incident. Philippine Football President Mariano Araneta Jr. said. Nako, paano na ngayon yun? May nabasa akong balita, I don't know, hindi ko pa po ma-confirm, kaya hindi ko masabi, napatay daw yung tatlo na yun. Yung tatlong NPA, nakipagnahabol daw, nakipagbaril yan. I will confirm it bukas po sa ating Balitang Bayan Huwebes. We will try to get the bottom of this. Ayaw, hindi siyempre ibibigay ng NPA, yun, mga sundalo nila yun eh. No? Kahit mga rebelde yan, sundalo yun ng NPA, CPP. Sila ang magpaparusa ron kung ano mang kaparusahan ang dapat ibigay sa kanila. Ayan. Well, COVID-19 sa Pinas. Wala ang pagbabago hanggat di 50% ang vaccination rate. Totoo po yan, kahit saan naman eh. Hindi magbabago. Dito sa atin, sa Canada, bumaba na po, lalo sa Ontario, at higit po laro dito sa Toronto. Sa Ontario po 70% na yata. Kaya pabalik na po ang opening papunta na ng new normal. Konting tiis na lamang po mga kababayan. Wala pang makikitang malaking pagbabago sa estado ng Pilipinas hanggat hindi na aabot ang 30% hanggang 50% vaccination rate ng populasyon sa bansa. Sinabi ni Professor Ranjit Rai ng Okta Research Group na masyado pang maliit ang mga numero ng nababakunahan sa Pilipinas. Nitong Hunyo 8, umabot pa lamang sa 0.46 milyon ng nabakunahan na katumbas ng 4% ng populasyon ng bansa. Nasa 1.6 milyon ng naturang numero ang nakatanggap na ikalawang dose. Matatandaan na target ng pamahalaan na babakunahan ang nasa 70 milyon ng populasyon. Inaasinta rin nila na mabakunahan ang nasa 58 milyon pagsapit ng Nobyembre. Una nang inihayag ng Department of Health na nais ng mga eksperto na mabakunahan ng 30% ng populasyon bago luwagan ang quarantine restrictions ng bansa. Habang nagaganap ang vaccination program, sinabi ni Rai na dapat pa ring sumunod ang publiko sa minimum health standard dahil nananatili ang matinding banta ng virus, lalo na at maraming lugar sa Metro Manila ang nakitaan ng pagtaas ng mga kaso at pagkakaroon na ng bansa ng iba't ibang variants ng COVID-19. Isa pa pong dahilan yan, marami pong mga Pilipino talaga, ayaw magpapakuna. Yung gano'n, yung iba naman pong nabakunahan na ng first dose, pag oras na para mapa-second dose, yung pangalawang bakuna nawawala na, ayaw na. Kung anong dahilan, sila lang nakakaalam. Kaya nagagalit ngayon si Presidente Duterte. At ang atas ni Presidente Duterte, hanapin lahat yung mga nabakunahan na yan. Sapagkat meron nga naman listahan kung nasaan yan, sino yan, saan nakatira. Puntahan yan. Amukiin pero huwag niyong tatakutin. Huwag niyong sasaktan. Bawal na bawal yun Kasi nga, sabi nga, walang pilitan. Paano kayo sa Pilipinas makakaraos nga sa pighati? Tagalog na Tagalog yun siya. Ang pighati ng coronavirus. Hindi maaalis sa inyong isipan. Ang hirap ng pagkakasakit ng virus hanggat hindi kayo nagpapabakuna. Di ba yung iba pong nabakunahan, napakarami na po niyan Sabi nga ng Department of Health, ang dami na po, pero nung oras na sila ay tawagan na para sa pangalawang bakuna, ayaw na. Kung anong dahilan, bakit nga ba? Bakit ba ayaw nila? Kailangan ba bayaran pa sila? Kailangan ba sunduin pa sila? Para sa kapakanan po ng mga tao yun Para sa inyo po yun, para sa atin yun. Lalo na yung mga senior. Hindi po ba? Kung gusto nating humaba pa ang buhay natin, magbabakuna tayo. Marami, bahala na yung ang Diyos. Ang Diyos po, titingnan lang kayo Magdasal nga kayo kung sasagutin kayo. Hindi sapagkat hinihintay ng Diyos na magkusang palo ang tao. Hindi yung papaluin mo sarili mo. Yung ibig sabihin, magdesisyon ka for you. Ano ba gusto mo sa sarili mo? Gusto mo bang mabuhay pa ng matagal? Asikasuhin mo ang sarili mo. Kung anong kailangan ng sarili mo, ibigay mo. You have to pamper yourself once in a while. Ika nga, no? Sa English yun. O sa Tagalog yun, hindi po pamper, hindi po yung nilalagay sa mga panty at sa mga short pants o sa mga, yung pamper, yung bigyan mo ng kasiyahan. Paminsan-minsan yan sa sarili mo. O yun, ibig sabihin nun. O ganun yun. Ibig sabihin, eto, nagkaroon ng virus. Simpleng explanation lang po eh. Kasi yung iba sa mga probinsya, ibang mga senior citizen, yung iba po ayaw nilang bigyan ng magandang explanation. Simple lang yan eh. May kumakalat na pandemic, na virus, nakamamatay. Ang virus na yan, COVID-19 yan. Ngayon, may gamot dyan. Bakuna. Hindi lang bakuna. Pag lumabas ka, hahawakan ka niya pag wala kang maskara, wala kang face shield. Sa Pilipinas kasi dalawa pa eh. May face mask na, may face shield pa. Yung karamihan sa mga lola, wala naman tinatanggap na 500 monthly yan eh. Bilang na bilang mo yung mga seniors na mayroong pensyon. Karamihan sa mga seniors, lalo sa probinsya, hindi naman po nagtrabaho nung araw yun eh. Hindi po ba mapepensyon nun sa SSS? Ano mapepensyon nun sa GSIS? Kundi yung bigay lang ng gobyerno. Bigay lang ng OSCA, Office of the Senior Citizen. Yun, na ginawa po ng batas para mabigyan muna noong araw na 2010 pa yan eh. 500 sa pinakamahihirap na senior citizen. Ilang milyon lang nun. Ngayon, dumami na po ng dumami. Ang rehistradong senior yata ngayon papunta na ng 10 million. Hindi naman po lahat ng 10 million mahirap. May mga senior pong mayayaman. O yung mga anak ng mga congressman, senador, mayor, governor. O di po ba? Karamihan sa mga mayor, governor, congressman, mga bata pa yung mga nanay niyan, tatay eh. At saka hindi naman kailangan ng pensyonan, mga yayaman na yun eh. Magiging politiko ba yan? Kung wala man lang pera. Milyon-milyon ang pera po ng mga yan, kaya napasok dyan sa politika. Huwag po kayong maniwalang sinasabing, kami laki sa hirap ng politiko. Hindi po. Hindi, walang mga politikong naghirap. Bihira, kukunti lang po, mahirap. May pera, pero hindi saksakan ng hirap. Sino ba pinakamahirap di yung mga party list nga alapang 1 milyon ng ari-arian at pera sa bangko. Yung mga party list, yung makabayan, mga ganun. Pero may mga member po ng party list na super billionaire. Hindi po ba na ginamit? Hayaan na naman tayo. Babalik na naman sa Comelec Pupunta na naman sa Comelec kung sino yung party list na may perang kayang bayaran yung kanilang registration sa Comelec, matatanggap. Papayagang mga kampanya. Yan, ganun ang buhay sa Pilipinas. Hindi naman po sa Pilipinas may mga bansa rin pong ganyan. Pero in the Philippines, you could admit it by yourself. Of course, in the province during election campaign. Wow! The candidates are throwing up money. Ito, sasampalan ko na lang kayo. Itong may nabalitaan ako. Hindi sigurado to hindi sigurado. One of the many asungots, ika nga, amuyongs, yan, ni Senator Manny Pacquiao. Si Manny Pacquiao, alam mo, talaga pong mabida ngayon kay Manny Pacquiao Unang-una, nagsabi na siya tatakbong presidente sa Pilipinas. Teka muna, hindi naman niya sinabing tatakbo siya presidente He's just aspiring for a higher post than senator. Pero sinabi naman niyang presidente. Malay nyo, baka vice president. Basta sinabi niya, tatakbo sa mataas na pwesto. At pangalawa, lalaban siya ng boxing sa August 21. Kaya bukang bibig ng bala na ng mga Pilipino, si Pacquiao. Nung araw yan, napakahirap. Totoo po, inamin naman niya, galing ako sa hirap. Nung araw ba, nangarap na siyang, ako ba magiging politiko? Hindi Ako ba kikilalanin bilang politiko? Hindi Ang pangarap niya, boxing, kumita, mapakain ng pamilya, matulungan ng pamilya, matulungan ng mga kapatid at mga magulang through boxing. Sapagkat alam niya kung gaano siya kalakas. Maliit pa lang siya, malakas na siya. No, natutulungan na siya ng Panginoon, ng Diyos, ng God. Yung ganon. Ibinigyan siya ng isang blessing na ikaw bibigyan namin o bibigyan ko. Sabi ng Lord siguro sa itaas ng isang napakalakas na ayuda para masunod mo ang iyong panalangin, ang iyong dreams, mga panaginip mo. Tumulong ka lang sa mga taong nangangailangan din. Yung ganon. Pero never in his mind na mamumuliti ko si Pacquiao. Kahit na nga nung championship, hindi naman niya iniisip ang politik eh. Di ba? Ang naiisip niya noon, yung, siyempre, sumikat pa, magkapera pa, yung gano'n, sumikat ng todo, makatulong sa mga mahirap, mga katulad niyang boksingero. Kailan niya naisip na siya ay mamumuliti ka? Nung inamuki siya ng kanyang mga kasama, kaibigan, mga amuyo nga, yung sinasabi, nasa kaliwa mo, nasa kanan mo, pinatakbo siyang mayor ng sarangga ng kanilang bayan sa General Santos City. Takbo ka, dami mo naman pera, tsaka sikat ka. I'm sorry, gumastos siya ng ilang pong milyon doon, talo sa pagka-mayor. Di laban na naman siya, nananalo na naman, bilyon-bilyon piso na naman ang ipinanik niya, napalitay na talo sa kanya. Ang mayor doon, mahina ang 50 milyon. Ngayon nakita niya, kailangan ng pera pag ikaw ay mamumuliti ka. At para ka manalo, dagdagan mo pera mo. Ayun ang nangyari. Ngayong huli, yung palang pagpapaplano, the mere fact that you're just asking people to help you, campaign, hindi naman campaign, bawal mangampanya, pero wala namang hinuhuli sa pangangampanya. Yung early campaigning, wala yan, di totoo yan. Hanggat hindi ka pa nakarehistro. May nagsabi sa akin na yung ginagawa ngayong plataforma ng pangangampanya, pagpapakilala, tapos yung mga media people, lahat na, nearing 50 million pesos na po. Daw ang ginastos ni Lodi Manny Pacquiao. Daming pera nun. Papakilala, just introducing yourself that a possible president of the Republic of the Philippines is here in front of you, campaigning, dragon 50 million pesos kagad yun. Kung ibinili na ba niya ng vaccine yun Taga saan sa General Santos City? Magkano ilang libo mabibili ng 50 million pesos na bakuna? Dali niya ako, taga saan siya? Doon siya nag-umpisa sa General Santos City, sa Sarangani Province. Dinala niya sana yung bakuna ron. Tapos sasabihin, hindi ako nangangampanya. Unahin muna natin yung bakuna. Ba't din niya binili? Kung sakali mang, sakali mang gumastos siya ng $50 million for nothing, tapos makakabangga mo pa si Presidente Duterte at ang PDB laban, sayang ang pera mo. Idol. If you bought vaccine with that 50 million pesos, binigay mo sa kababayan mo, kahit anong kampanyahin mo ron, kahit yung nanay mo, si Mami di patakbuhin mong mayor doon mananalo. Simply because ibinigyan mo ng libreng bakuna mga kababayan mo. Kung chismis lang yon, okay, chismis. Pero kung totoo, paano kung totoo 50 million yun na sayang mo? Hindi mo nalang binili ng bakuna. Pinambayad mo lang sa mga taong yan. Eto pare, isulat mo yung Manny Pacquiao. Anyway, yun po ang ating sinasabi. Vaccine. Sayang Ako po nanghihinayang. Yung pera, pinaghirapan Pinaghirapan. Tapos mawawala lang. Kaya kung tatakbong presidente si Manny, wag po, baka maubos yung pera. Baka. Alright, wag naman. Well, ibinaba na po ng US ang travel advisory sa Pilipinas ng isang level. Pag-uusapan po natin yan sa pagbabalik po ng News at 4. Don't go away. I'll be back after some words from our friends.
Are you an international student who has recently graduated from a Canadian post-secondary school? If you have graduated from a designated learning institution, you could be eligible to apply for permanent residency under the new pathway set out by Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. Contact Genesis Immigration Consulting.
Binabana ng Estados Unidos ang kanilang travel advisory sa Pilipinas sa level 3 mula sa level 4. Reconsider travel to the Philippines due to COVID-19. Additionally, exercise increased caution due to crime, terrorism, civil unrest, and kidnapping nakasaad sa advisory ng US. Inilabas ng US Center for Disease Control and Prevention ang Level 3 Travel Health Notice sa Pilipinas na nagpapakita ng mataas pa ng kaso ng COVID-19 sa bansa. Kasama ang Pilipinas sa 66 na bansa na inilagay sa high level of COVID-19. Nakasaad din sa advisory ng kanilang mga mamamayan na gustong pumunta sa Pilipinas ay dapat siguruhin na kumpleto na sila sa bakuna laban sa coronavirus. Habang ang mga wala pang bakuna ay dapat iwasan ang non-essential travel sa bansa. Dapat din naman sumunod ang mga pupunta dito sa bansa sa itinakdang health protocols katulad ng pagsusuot ng mask at physical distancing na 6 feet ang layo. Because of the current situation in the Philippines, all travelers may be at risk of getting and spreading COVID-19 variants, nakasaad pa sa advisory ng US CDC. Noong Abril, nagpalabas ang ahensya sa US laban sa lahat ng magtutungod sa Pilipinas dahil sa very high level ng coronavirus sa bansa. Dalawang sangkot sa bentahan ng bakuna, yung pong nabalita natin nung isang linggo, kinasuhan na. Tuluyan ang kinasuhan ng PNP Criminal Investigation and Detection Group sa Mandaluyong City Prosecutor's Office ang dalawang suspect sa kontrobersyal na bentahan ng bakuna. Ayon kay PNP-CID Director Brigadier General Albert Ferro, kasong panglabag sa Article 315 ng Revised Penal Code o estafa, paglabag sa Anti-Red Tape Law of 2007 at paglabag sa Anti-Cybercrime Law ang isinampal laban kina Clyde Cedric Bonifacio at Melvin Polo Gutierrez. Nilinaw ni Ferro na hindi empleyado ng Mandaluyong City Hall sina Bonifacio at Gutierrez, taliwas sa naunang lumabas na balita. Una nang ibinunyag ng vlogger na si Nina Elaine Dizon ang maanumalyang transaksyon kung saan maaaring makakuha ng slot sa bakuna sa mga lungsod ng Mandaluyong at San Juan ang mga biktima ng dalawa kumporme ang singil sa brand ng bakuna. Sa panig naman ni PNP Chief General Guillermo Elizar na patuloy pa rin ang investigasyon ng CIDG kaugnay na nasabing kaso na posibleng may iba pang mga individual na sangkot dito. Magsilbing babalasan na ito sa iba pang magtatangkang dayain ang sistema ng ating National Vaccination Program ang ating pagsasampa ng kaso laban kay Bonifacio at Gutierrez. Paalala pa ni Elisiar sa publiko na libre ang bakuna at ibinibigay ng mga LGUs. Ang kailangan lang ay magparehistro at maghintay kung kailan babakunahan. Ayan. Naku, sabi nung isa, kailangan ko lang po kang kumita para sa anak ko. Lahat naman ng tao sa Pilipinas, yan ang katwiran. Pag ngayong pandemic, gumawa kang kasalanan, nahuli, idadahilan yung mga anak. Nak ng dragon. Balitang sports, Pacquiao at Spence fight sa MGM dadaos o gagawin. Wow! Sa MGM Grand Garden Arena sa Las Vegas, Nevada, idaraos ang bakbakan ni na 8th Division World Champion Manny Pacquiao at World Boxing Council at International Boxing Federation Welterweight Champion Errol Spence Jr. sa Agosto 22 sa Manila. Naunang napaulat na kasi nagaganapin ng Pacquiao-Spence mega fight sa Allegiant Stadium na may seating capacity na 72,000 person. Uy, saan kaya yun? Ang laki nun. Subalit mismong si Pacquiao ang nagkumpirma na idaraos ito sa MGM Grand Garden Arena na makailang ulit nang naging saksi sa tagumpay ng Pinoy champion. Magsisilbi itong unification bout sa oras na may formalisa na ang pagbabalik ng world title ni Pacquiao mula sa World Boxing Association. Nakatakdang magsimula ang pukpok ang ensayo ni Pacquiao sa General Santos City kasama ang kanyang team sa pangunguna ni trainer Buboy Fernandez. Aminado si Pacquiao na bahagyang atrasado na ang ensayo nito, subalit hindi ito magiging malaking problema dahil sa dedikasyon nito sa oras na maumpisa na ang proper training camp. Nakatakdang tumulak pa Amerika ang Team Pacquiao sa unang bahagi ng Hulyo para ipagpatuloy doon ang ensayo sa Wildcard Gym sa Hollywood, California. Makakasama ni Pacquiao sa Wildcard Gym si Hall of Famer Freddie Roach. Confident ako sa laban na ito dahil I have the experience, speed, and power. It will be a good fight. Ani pa ni Pacquiao. Well, sana nga po. At sa tingin ko, napanood ko yung isang laban ni Errol Spence. Malaki siya, mga 5'9", 5'10", yung mga ganun. Mahaba ang kamay niya. Saka, mabagal lang hindi. Kasi na-aksidente ito 6 months or 1 year ago, na-aksidente yan. Kaya siguro yung kanyang forma ay medyo iniinda pa yung aksidente. Anyway, kaliwete rin siya, parang si Pacquiao. Si Pacquiao po, bihirang nakakakalaban ng kaliwete na matangkad sa kanya. Si Pacquiao po ay mga 5'6". Kung 5'9" to, 3 inches ang angat kay Pacquiao. At saka mas malaki siguro. Pero ang timbang niyan ay parehas lang. Well, llamado po si Spence dito. Dihado si Pacquiao. Pero habang lumalapit yan, promise, magpaparehas pa yun bandang huli baka sa gabi Pacquiao na yan. Well, balitang Southeast Asian Games. Vietnam Sea Games maaaring iatras next year. Well, Kagaya ng Olympic Games sa Tokyo, Japan ay posible ring iurong ang pagdaraos ng 31st Southeast Asian Games sa Hanoi, Vietnam dahil sa coronavirus pandemic. Ito ay bunga ng pagtaas ng kaso ng mga nagpo-positibo sa COVID-19 sa ilang lugar sa Vietnam. Pamamahalaan ang 2021 SEA Games mula November 21 hanggang Disyembre 2. Ang 40 sports ay lalaruin sa 11 venues sa Vietnam kung saan ang ilan dito ay epicenter ngayon ng mga bagong pagloban ng COVID-19 cases kagaya ng mga probinsya ng Bac Ninh at Bac Giang. Ang Badminton Bureau o rather venue sa Bac Giang ang ginagawa ngayong field hospital para sa mga COVID-19 positives. Now na nang sinulatan ng Vietnam Olympic Committee or VOZ ang 10 pang member countries ng SEA Games para hilingin na ipagpaliban ng biennial meet at ilipat sa Hulyo ng 2022. Well, the Vietnam Olympics Committee, the host of the SEAG 31, has sent a letter to countries informing them of its proposed postponement to July 2022. Itataya ng Pilipinas naman ang suot na overall crown na nakamit noong 2019 edition kung saan kumolekta ang mga national Pinoy athletes ng kabuuang 149 golds, 117 silver at 121 bronze medals. Well, nakakalendaryo na kasi daw sa 2022 ang Asian Games, Asian Indoor and Martial Arts Games, Winter Olympic Games at Commonwealth Games. Kaya't nagdadalawang isip ang marami pang bansa kung atras ang gagawing Southeast Asian Games sa Hanoi, Vietnam. Well, bago po ako magpaalam, tayo po yung nagpapasalamat muli sa napakarami nating mga patuloy na nagbibigay suporta. Yung pong mga text na natanggap ko mula sa Cavite, diyan po sa Manila, natatandaan daw nila yung pangalan ni Mondo Tol sa Pilipinas. So po, dati po akong sports writer doon. At ngayon may natatanggap daw silang mga link. And dito nga sa Tom's Radio Toronto, kamukha ko raw si Joey De Leon. Joey De Leon, Direct Ricky Q. Puti na buhok noon. Ako po, hindi pa. At ang boses ni Ben Tulpo, hindi po. Mas maganda boses noon. Aral sa Amerika yun . Well, at syempre po, in behalf of our producers, Cecil Araneta and Josie Isla, take care, Tita Cez and Tito Edward. And of course, our DJs for today, DJ Ricky Q, Direct, and DJ Owen. Ito po inyong kaibigan, Mondatol. Bumabati ng magandang tanghali or hapon sa inyong lahat.
Are you an international student who has recently graduated from a Canadian post-secondary school? If you have graduated from a designated learning institution, you could be eligible to apply for permanent residency under the new pathway set out by Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. Contact Genesis Immigration Consulting